I think I was cursed or blessed, depending on how you look at it, as always knowing that I was an artist.
Right, so let's just work on the base today then.
To be honest, I think that I've been doing sculpture my whole life. My dad had a table saw, and he used to cut pieces, and there were little scraps that fell into a box underneath. And I used to take them when I was a little kid and glue them together and make little figures.
So what do you want to do?
Weld up the bottoms of that.
I really look up to Don.
That'll be good.
I would say Don is a partner more so than my boss.
We'll lay these all out.
So because Don has Parkinson's, when I come into the shop, I'm an extension of him.
What I feel like when I go to my studio. I think of it as a sacred space where there's no judgment and there's no ego, and we're just there, everybody's there for a common purpose to make an incredible piece of art. Flip the whole thing over. I'm an artist, a sculptor in St. Petersburg, Florida. Well, the creative process is really very interesting and somewhat mysterious. You know, it borders on metaphysics, the question of where do ideas come from?
If we do it from the back.
That'd be great.
Yeah, let's try.
With the preheat we can do, and
It almost seems magical, the way a thought pops into your head. Do thoughts have any substance? Are they energy? What is a thought?
Working with a master artist like Don has really opened me up to learn more than I thought I knew.
The most important thing about sculpture is to interact with an audience. And sculpture does that more effectively than two-dimensional art, than painting and drawing. Because it's in the round like we are. So people react to it more viscerally and more real than I think a painting. The reason artists gravitate towards a certain medium has a lot to do with their personality. A glass worker has a different temperament than a woodworker, and a woodworker different than a painter. I like to work with like bold strokes, more or less, you know. And iron and steel is very forgiving. You know, you can beat on it, you can bend it. And if you make a mistake, you can weld over it and grind it. You know, try doing that with a piece of glass.
Places where it's joined up like here, we can definitely use the TIG on the front.
One day, my hand began to shake a little bit. I was working on my phone. I was using my phone, and my hand just shot off to the side. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I noticed it progressively getting worse. They finally gave me the diagnosis of Parkinson's, which is a scary, scary thing. The Parkinson's tremor has affected many aspects of my life. I mean, the things that you take for granted are really amazing. I mean, just eating is difficult. I can't use my right hand to eat anymore. I have to use my left hand. Brushing your teeth, getting dressed, driving. Being a sculptor, you work with your hands. I did everything myself. You know, I did my own welding and cutting and hammering. All that was going to change. My helpers, specifically Montana and Alicia, I feel very fortunate to have them in my life.
Like run it like this.
So when I come into the shop, it's not just like, oh, hey, here's what you're working on today. You know, we really communicate well together.
Because when you're making sculpture, there's a lot of very small details that have to be communicated.
He's been in the metal sculpture field for a long time, and I am just a baby at these things. So working with a master artist like Don has really opened me up.
That's it. I mean, that's it.
So having someone like Dawn tell me exactly where a weld needs to be or exactly how we want something grinded is more than me just taking my own knowledge and doing what I need to for Dawn. He kind of stops me and we finesse, and so I really enjoy working with him.
This is the layout in position with the overlaps shown. So we want to lay it out on the floor on the 16 by 36.
Life is hard. And having somebody so positive around me like Dawn, today's not that bad of a day. So it just really improves my perspective. I really look up to Dawn.
Yeah.
I always like the analogy of the kind of kooky psychiatrist where you go in and instead of laying on the couch, you sit in the sandbox. And that's kind of like what I feel like when I go to my studio. It's like a sacred space where there's no judgment and there's no ego. We're just there, everybody's there for a common purpose to make an incredible piece of art.